If you had asked someone in the 1900s what the common perception of wetlands were, they would probably say that they are dismal swamps, just some wastelands, or muddy, disease-ridden areas that deserve no regard. And this perception has fueled decades of wetland loss across the globe. In fact, in San Diego County alone, almost a third of coastal wetlands have been developed or degraded. But the narrative is changing. Our overall understanding of these unique spaces, the benefits that they bring us, and the critical life support that they provide to native fish and wildlife are becoming increasingly well known, because these swampy, soggy, but dynamic ecosystems are beautiful. They house tranquil lagoons, vibrant seagrass beds, and colorful marshes. They're extremely biodiverse. Coming in all shapes and sizes, coastal wetlands have some of the richest biodiversity on the planet. And most importantly, they are extremely beneficial. If you look beyond the beauty of coastal wetlands, you'll find this habitat hard at work providing what is known as ecosystem services, which provide benefits to humans. These ecosystem services are not only beneficial, they are too valuable to lose. Yet, despite this value, these ecosystems are often still depleted or degraded. An optimal balance between conservation and development is needed to sustain our way of life while ensuring enough resources for future generations. And to aid in this system of trade-offs, many studies have calculated dollar values for the services provided by wetlands on a global to regional scale. And this has been very beneficial for raising public awareness and helping assess changes in overall natural capital. However, to help with local policy development and restoration projects, a more detailed valuation method is needed and should be implemented. So for my project, I calculated the 2 ecosystem service values provided by San Diego County wetlands specifically, and this can help raise awareness of these local services, reduce the overall variability associated with global estimates, and help conserve our habitats more efficiently. I also wanted to take the results from this analysis and help engage a multidisciplinary audience in order to help raise public awareness of these benefits, advocate to local policymakers, and provide a tool to wetland restoration managers. So here's a list of the main services that are provided by coastal wetlands, including fish nursery habitat, carbon sequestration, storm and flood protection, improved water quality, recreational opportunities, and erosion control. And the 2 that I will be focusing on today is fish nursery habitat and carbon sequestration. Here is a map of the study sites, and to some of you, this map of the coast may look pretty familiar. It's right here in San Diego County, and it's broken out by North County, which has smaller but more numerous coastal wetlands, and then South County, which has some of our bigger but fewer coastal wetlands. And I actually visited all 14 of them. They are really beautiful and fun to visit, so I definitely recommend it. So the first service that was evaluated was fish nursery habitat, specifically for California halibut. And the reason why California halibut was chosen is because this species of fish has high commercial value, concrete data on recruitment and distribution, and a lot of information on mortality rate. And newly hatched halibut will use these coastal wetlands as nursery habitat because it can help decrease the risk of mortality and provide protection. And over about 58 to 69% of all of the California halibut within San Diego County off the coast will use these protected wetlands as habitat. So it makes it a great study species for this service. So to walk through an example of how this analysis was conducted, we'll look at Agua Hedionda, which is located in Carlsbad. And Agua Hedionda supports a very dynamic environment, including fishing, boating, mariculture, and outreach engagement. And it is also home to about 90 hectares of suitable halibut habitat. This map here on the right shows that halibut are more dense towards the center of the lagoon and less dense towards the outer edges. And by taking this information about habitat size and including additional parameters such as the juvenile density per hectare, the amount of halibut that will survive to adulthood, the average weight that they will be at commercial size, the fraction that is caught in the commercial fishery, and the ex-vessel value that these fish will provide when they're sold. All of these parameters were inputted into a data analysis tool called R in order to run a Monte Carlo simulation to determine the average annual benefit that this that this wetland will provide to the California halibut commercial fishery. And this was found to be about $41,800 per year. And then by incorporating what's known as a discount factor to find the present value that this service could provide from now through 2100, Agua Hedionda could provide about $1.3 million. So taking the same method and applying it over 7 other coastal wetlands throughout San Diego County, the results show that these coastal wetlands combined provide about $998,000 per year to the California halibut commercial fishery. And from now through 2100, about $30.7 million. So for the next ecosystem service, carbon sequestration, specifically looking at blue carbon ecosystems. So seagrass beds, salt marshes, and mudflats can all sequester and store a lot of CO2 and are known as blue carbon ecosystems. And coastal wetlands specifically are known for this hallmark service because they are extremely efficient at it. They can sequester carbon at a rate 10 times higher than tropical forests. And as climate change accelerates, this will become an increasingly more valuable service. So again, let's walk through another example of how this was conducted. This is San Diego Bay. And if anyone here has ever been to San Diego Bay, it's a very active hub. It's filled with many recreational and tourism opportunities, a lot of commercial uses, and military operations. And it also supports a vast array of blue carbon ecosystems, including eelgrass beds, salt marshes, and mudflats. So taking this habitat size information and incorporating additional parameters into R, such as the annual sequestration rate per hectare and the social cost of carbon, which is the cost of damage to society caused by a metric ton of CO2 emissions, San Diego Bay alone can provide around $838,000 per year towards climate mitigation. And then again, incorporating a discount factor, this same area can provide around $25.8 million from now through 2100. So by combining, and then for all of the study sites, it was applied again for 7 other coastal wetland areas in San Diego County, and the results show that these coastal wetlands combined can provide about $1.6 million towards climate mitigation, and from now through 2100, around $50.1 million. So summing the value of just these 2 out of the numerous services that these local wetlands provide, the total benefit calculated was around $2.6 million per year. And from now through 2100, these same benefits could provide a combined $80.8 million. And this 2.6 number will be important for later. So I just threw a lot of numbers at you, and why do these numbers matter? Well, there are a lot of advantages of doing a ecosystem service valuation, including improved restoration strategies and the ability to support new funding and grant requests. In terms of restoration strategies, it can help really show which areas they should prioritize first, and which ones that they can help increase stakeholder engagement for in order to help get these restoration strategies off the ground. It can also help justify management costs by mitigating the increased pressure from coastal development and also supporting new grant and funding requests. It also, the most important one, is that it serves as a really powerful communication tool for a broad multidisciplinary audience who may have varying understandings of what coastal wetlands are and why they may be beneficial. So to aid in this, I created a story map that runs through everything from what are coastal wetlands to what are the different services that they could provide. So to show an example, shows what are coastal wetlands, shows some of the photography that was taken around San Diego County by myself and Nicole Rosenberg in the back. And then it goes through each individual wetland where users can learn more about the habitat characteristics, maybe some of the issues they're facing, and current restoration strategies. It runs through current challenges and issues where you can learn about urban development encroachment, sea level rise concerns, and also pollution and contamination and how that affects our current wetlands. It then goes through restoration and management where you can learn about what our current conservation organizations are doing to help. And then finally, the ecosystem services, where you can learn about California halibut and the different value that each wetland provides to the commercial fishery. And then same for blue carbon ecosystems, you can learn more about what scientists are doing to learn more about carbon sequestration and the the value that each wetland provides towards blue carbon. It also shows how this valuation method was originally created and applied for a restoration project in Mission Bay, and then how you can help, where there are fact sheets that you can share with local representatives or policymakers who may be interested to learn more about wetlands and their value. So back to this 2.6 million per year number, which was it? So for 8 out of the 14 wetlands, these 2 ecosystem services provide a combined $2.6 million in socioeconomic benefits. And with the 11 current restoration projects that are happening in San Diego County, it provides the same benefit value as the cost of 6 projects. And these total values would increase if an additional analysis were conducted on the remaining coastal wetlands in San Diego County, and if an analysis was done on the initial services provided, including things like water quality improvements, sea level rise mitigation, mariculture and energy services, tourism opportunities, additional commercial and recreational fisheries, and property value protection and increases, which could actually provide some of the highest values. It is a hope that with this project and future development, that will help support local restoration projects and show to both the public and to the policymakers that wetlands are not just muddy, undeveloped swamps, but that they are beautiful, biodiverse, and beneficial ecosystems. I'd like to thank my capstone committee for their incredible knowledge and guidance in this endeavor. And I would also like to thank this amazing group of people for all of their information and collaboration that made this project possible. And thank you.
Thanks for that presentation, Bev. Really, really interesting. Do you think this kind of analysis could lead to the commoditization of these wetlands or show developers that their goods and services would be more valuable?
Great question, Samantha. So yes, assigning dollar values to things can often make it seem like these types of benefits can just be bought and sold in a free market economy. But one really important thing about valuing ecosystem services is that they are common pool resources, or ones that essentially are non-excludable, meaning if you were to use some of this resource, it doesn't necessarily take it away from someone else. So these are public benefits that are provided to the people through coastal wetlands. So if someone were to come in and say, well, I can make this more valuable, and they were to develop it and turn it into something else, those service benefits would be lost, and us here would no longer receive these benefits. You would have to pay for the goods and services of whatever they are providing in that area. So even though it is assigning dollar values, it's really just a way to show that they do have value in a way that anyone can understand, which is really great.
This is amazing, and it's like so. The way you lay it out, even though I know it was like probably a ton of work, makes it like, why are we not doing this? So I was just curious if you have plans like with who you're going to share this with, because it seems like it could be like hugely beneficial. So I was just curious if you have any promos you're doing or like who you're sharing it with.
Oh, great question. So a few members on my capstone committee from California Sea Grant and Wild Coast have expressed interest in sharing this type of analysis to help further engage the public and to show to people that they are valuable. And then a few of the representatives from Agua Hedionda Lagoon and the San Diego River Valley Conservancy, they were really excited to see these numbers because they were like, this is great, we can go to this for grant funding requests, and hopefully this can help us raise more awareness. So kind of hoping that I can just kind of take this information and share it with conservation places.
Hi, Bev. This was amazing and really comprehensive. I am very curious, after doing all of these analyses, do you think that the cost of destroying or degrading wetlands is approximately equal to the benefits that we get from restoring them, or is there a different kind of math that you might use to figure that out? Is that something that you're considering?
That is a great question. In terms of the costs associated with degradation, I definitely think it would increase the value of the benefits that they could provide, because as the supply of these areas in a sense goes down, the cost of them or the benefit of them would go up because they would be in higher demand. So I definitely think that utilizing the cost of destruction would be also a really good, powerful communication tool. And the one that I did in here was kind of just showing the cost of restoration and comparing that to the overall benefits to try to show that comparison. But yeah, I definitely think that would be a great addition.